Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai, and welcome to Jagadambe Reads the Holy Books of India, Mahabharata522. As you may remember, Sanjaya went to the court of Dhritarashtra and made everybody faint. After a while, they composed themselves, and Vidura tried to console the weeping parents of Duryodhana. It was then that Krishna arrived in Hastinapura. He entered the palace and was taken to the hall where Dhritarashtra was seated. Tears came to his eyes when he saw the condition of the king, and his heart was torn when he saw that grand lady Gandhari sunk in woe. He wept at the sight of these two old parents who were grieving for their dead sons. He spoke to them for a long time. He spoke to them gentle, loving words. He was full of compassion, and he spoke to them with his heart full of love and sympathy. He convinced them that the death of all the great heroes was because of Duryodhana. Finally, he spoke to Gandhari, "Mother, on the day I came to Hastinapura on a mission of peace, Duryodhana tried to capture me. You stopped him, or rather you tried to stop him with the words, 'Where there is righteousness, there is victory.' Mother, it is even so. You must not blame the Pandavas for this calamity. Yudhishthira is grieved because he has caused you so much unhappiness. You know how much he tried to avoid the war. Please be kind to the children of Pandu. They have suffered so much in life. They have never had a father. You must be affectionate toward them. You must not turn your angry eyes on the sons of Pandu." Dhritarashtra and Gandhari were consoled by the sweet and gentle words of Krishna. Gandhari said, "What you say is true, Krishna. As soon as I heard that my child, my Duryodhana, was killed, my heart was shaken by emotion, and my reason threatened to give way. But now, after hearing your words, I feel better. I will conduct myself with fairness toward the sons of Kunti. With my children dead, I have no one to comfort me except you." She cried again, and Krishna pacified her with kind words. He took leave of them and went back to the Pandavas. The night was spent by them outside the camp of Duryodhana. The Pandavas had just Krishna and Satyaki with them. The rest were in the Pandava camp. Chapter 2, Ashwatthama's Grief. Sanjaya went back to the presence of the king. He saw Duryodhana writhing in agony. His body was covered with dust, and his eyes were weeping futile tears. Looking at the monarch alone in pain, Sanjaya's heart was ready to break. This was the king who had the entire world at his feet. There was no one to equal him in his glory and in his wealth. He had never known what it was to walk even in the streets. His palace was like a temple. Sanjaya thought of the procession of the royal household, when the king would go seated on his elephant, looking like the Lord of the heavens on Ayurvata. This king was today lying on the ground, his thighs broken, with no one by his side to speak comforting words. He was alone. Sanjaya thought fate was a terrible thing. It was the great leveler. It knew no difference between king and soldier. Duryodhana's hands were pressed hard on the ground, and he was trying his best to bear the pain in his body. His head was shaking weakly, and he was trying to control himself. Sanjaya came near him and sat by his side. His frame was racked with sobs. Duryodhana looked at him. He said, "What a gentle soul you are, Sanjaya. You have come to keep me company. This life refuses to leave this mangled body. I am passing through hell. I am reaching the heavens. Fate wants me to taste hell first, for all my sins, perhaps." Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again.